Welcome to Avallon. It's windy today. Perfect day for doing some tree work. It's hard to say whether it's luck or skill, but we didn't take out the dry stone wall on the right. We didn't hit the little house. Alright, so I've taken all the easy ones off the back and one or two down this way, one into the neighbour's garden, a little one, which I managed to pull back. But then all of these, I think even if I had wedges and a felling lever, I don't think these are going any other way than straight down here. So this is the same property. Alright, there used to be a fence here, so there's a couple of metal brackets. And what I'm stood on is the top of a very old wall. Some of it is probably dry stone, some of it's probably been cemented in. But whatever happens, I don't want to drop these trees onto the edge of here. So I figure by putting that there, it's going to take the blow. I love this kind of work. I fully accept the minimal risk involved, minimal personal risk, quite potentially devastating risk to, you know, nearby structures. And the nature of this, I mean, you can see on the other side, terraces, these stepped gardens, just earth held back with the walls, right? And it's the same here. That wall, that's a dry stone wall there, and they're all falling apart. This one's had a massive collapse, nothing to do with me, I'll have you know. I'll get some more of this tree down, I'll probably finish this off, and then I'll come back on and I'll update you guys with, well, where I got a chainsaw from, basically. And what we're going to see now, hopefully, is one of these trees falling off the front of the bunch and landing there, and we don't know what's going to happen. It might just go flying over the edge and fall down there, but I suspect it's just going to lie nicely here and I'll have to just cut it off at the edge. We'll see. Well, there you go. There it is down there. It's already in the brash heap, the refuse pile. You see that top part of the wall? That's all dry stone, right? You've got obviously a lot of mortar in there, but it's dry at the top. So I think my plan of putting the log there is going to let this work. Right, so it's a tall one on the left next. There's quite a serious crosswind coming in from this side, gusting, you know. So it's on and off, I mean. I can probably compensate for that with the hinge. Little progress update. I've done about 10 of them, including the big one. I've now got a little group of 4 which are all leaning towards the neighbour's wall. I don't know if you're going to see that, but they're leaning off to the left. I know, of course, the cool thing would be to just brush it off, like this is something I do every day. But the fact of the matter is, cutting trees down is very exciting, especially when there's so many things around you that could be absolutely demolished by a falling tree, like, you know, a dry stone wall, a small house. I don't like cutting trees down. I do like cutting trees down. I don't like destroying things needlessly. You got to think of it like a weed is just a plant that's growing where you'd rather it wasn't. And that says nothing about the scale of the plant. So a tree in the wrong place is just a really big weed. And like I say, we don't like doing this. No one likes, well, you know, you understand that you're destroying nature when you do this job. Most of us, I think, do. When a tree surgeon is called in to cut down a really beautiful, like a specimen tree because it's threatening a house, either it's, you know, going to fall on it or it's damaging the foundations, they don't do that without consideration, right? They often do it with a very heavy heart because they're destroying something beautiful. This isn't a specimen tree, by the way. I don't know what species this is. If you know what that is, oh, maybe it's a sycamore. I think it's a sycamore. It's not a specimen tree. That's how I'm kind of rationalising it, making myself feel better about it. And you know, I can make really good money doing this. And I'm looking over the valley here. All I can see are gardens similar to this one, terraced gardens with trees growing and you know, threatening the stability of the walls, threatening the houses and the little outbuildings. So we've got to balance it. We've got to balance the necessity of surviving in this money-based society with the desire to just sit in a forest and hug trees rather than attack them with petrol-driven machinery. This is real interesting, this one. So this is the one I want to do next, the one at the front, because theoretically it will fall clean out of the group. But just hopefully where I'm pointing, there's a branch going out to the left, which is hooked over a branch of this tree, the middle tree there. So it's almost like it's got a branch going up and hooking over. And then this tree is going out to the right. It's got like a Y-shaped branch either side of it. So the absolute worst case scenario that I don't even want to mention because it might make it more likely to happen, but I can already see it happening. I don't want to manifest this. But the worst case scenario is that I cut this tree and it doesn't go anywhere, it just stays there. And I have to cut this tree and hope that they both fall over together. And then the worst case scenario in that situation is that this one doesn't move either because this one's holding them both up. And then I've got to cut all three and all three have to fall together. And considering I haven't done any serious felling like this for a very long time, a very, very long time. I'm going to say like a year at least since I did anything that was like challenging. And it was nothing like this with the walls and stuff, you know. Usually it's just like, don't drop it in the ditch, don't drop it on the fence. This is turning into quite an epic. We're going to do it anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut this one, hopefully it will go. If it doesn't, we'll cut that one as well. If it doesn't, we'll just head up to the Basilica, make an offering to the Virgin Mary, come back down and cut this one, and hopefully everything will be okay. But you know, I don't want to build it up or anything. Well, it is definitely stuck to its neighbour, and I've messed the cut up a bit. I've put it too high and I've gone through too far on this side. So now I do have to cut down number 2. Said it before and I've said it again, there is something watching over us. It couldn't have gone much better really. Well, other than the first tree falling on its own. The last one, where is it? The bendy one, the little one. Not bad for an hour or two's work. Haven't checked the time, it might be more like 3, I don't know. But there we go. I just looked at this chainsaw a bit closer. Do you know what? That's as nice a chainsaw as ever I've used. It's, what does it say here? Année de fabrication, 1989. That is a flipping dinosaur of a chainsaw. But it's just so nice, right? They're just so simple. The old ones. I don't even know what that does. That's probably to remove the cover. Just so simple. So how did I come to be in possession of this thing? It's a loan. If you watched my last video, I told the story of how I started landscaping our garden at home, and the landlord, when he saw what I was up to, he was really happy about it. And when I mentioned I needed a brush cutter for a job, he gave me a brush cutter. He made a gift of an old but really good brush cutter. I asked him if I could borrow a chainsaw for a job I was doing, and he didn't hesitate. I knew his response would be yes, if he had one. And he brought a little one-handed, a top-handle tree surgeon saw, just to cut up some root balls that I dug out, just to make them easier to get off the property. And I said, yeah, can I borrow this chainsaw? And he said, I'll bring you a big chainsaw if you want. I was like, yes, please. And the guy was in what they call motor culture, right? He was selling and repairing chainsaws and lawnmowers. So not surprising that he's got all this quality kit. If you follow your heart and if you're courageous, the universe, through whatever means it has available to it, will support you. And I don't know how much we get to guide that process. Up until this point, I've been quite happy to just let it happen. That's what living in the woods was all about for me, actually, just, you know, taking my hands off the wheel and seeing where it would lead me. But ultimately it led me to Julie, and it led me to Avallon with Julie. All we got to do now is figure out how we're going to get rid of all the brash. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. My frequencies has almost certainly been shadow banned at this point for talking about things we're not supposed to be talking about, if you know what I mean. Click the links to the right if you want to see some more of my renegade forestry work. Thanks for your support.